We're out of the cattle property in Goulburn and we're going to put to the test a new DJI Phantom 3 drone. And I can see these are going to be a really important tool for farmers and anyone in the agricultural industry. You'll be able to do things like checking troughs, checking tanks, dams, making sure stock aren't stuck around the muddy edges, along fence lines, and of course if you're lambing or calving you'll be able to send this out and just do a bit of monitoring of your stock, and that will save you from getting into your diesel utes and spending hours day after day checking these when you may not have to. If there's not a problem, leave the ute at home, and I think you'll recoup the cost of these in easily under 12 months in just fuel savings. Ben Greer is the operations manager at Rise Above, and he's kindly come along for two reasons: to fill us in on a few of the technical componentry of the new machine and also give me some basic flying skills, I suppose, so I don't end up putting it in the lake or into a tree.
It's a simple quadcopter, 4 motors. Each of these motors actually spin counter-rotating, so one will spin clockwise, the other one will spin anti-clockwise. That just helps prevent it from yawing while it's in the sky. Obviously a camera system, we have a battery which is easy to replace and put back in. The gimbal, as you can see, the red lights indicate the front of the drone. Some of the new features that the Phantom 3 has that the Phantom 2 did not possess is this vision positioning system. So basically you have a downwards facing camera as well as or an ultrasonic emitting device here. The ultrasonics is actually emitting a high pitch frequency, just like echolocation, like a bat basically. And the camera system, it's just a downward facing camera, so you can't actually see the footage, but what it's doing is feeding that image to the flight controller and it's determining whether it's moved off a spot. So if it can see something like a rock or some sort of area that it's above, if it starts to drift off, it realizes that it's moved off the spot and needs to come back to correct itself. Some new features, the ability to set waypoints. So now you can actually let this plot a path, so to speak, a flight path, and just hit go and this thing will go off and fly that path by itself. The way that you do that, you'd basically, the first mission, you record your mission. So you'd take off, you'd go over to a position here, record that point. You could then fly down a bit and over into this position and record that point, and then sort of fly over somewhere else and record a point. Then tomorrow or the next day, you can then revisit that mission. So you basically simply go to that mission, load it in, you press fly or OK, go, and this will take off. It'll go to that position. It would go down to that position that we recorded, and of course off to the third position, and then come back home and land. They also have what's called follow me. So now if I had this controller in my hand with my phone connected, getting a GPS signal, that GPS signal would be being fed back up to the Phantom so that it would actually be following me as I move around. So we can set that to a certain distance, whether it's 10 meters or 20 meters away, and it will just follow me while I'm holding the controller. And the final thing, which is quite cool, is it's called point of interest or targeting circulation. So basically, if you have a subject that you want to film, such as a person or anything, a tank or whatever, you can basically have this set up. You nominate the point that you want to look at. You then again set the circumference of your circle and hit go. And this again will just circle around the target, keeping the target in frame always. And that's just based on that GPS position. So if the target moved, it wouldn't know because it's the GPS point that it's encircling.
I think the Phantom 3 is a great starting point. It's a way of dipping your toe in the technology pond, so to speak, and as you become more familiar, upgrading to a more advanced model where you can then get into monitoring of crops for nutrient deficiencies and pest infestation, that type of thing. But we'll have a full review on the DJI Phantom 3 in New Farm Machinery magazine. And don't forget to jump on the Trade Farm Machinery website where you can view over 23,000 items of second-hand machinery.